There we go. We're live. All right, we'll just start in another 2 minutes and we'll wait for our audiences to join. We will be going live with Kay Shildo. She's the blockchain babe on Voice of Crypto's YouTube, LinkedIn, and we'll also be doing a live space on Twitter. This episode would also stay as an evergreen episode on our YouTube after editing almost a week later. So anyone who misses it here can catch up with the interesting conversations happening on our YouTube. All right, cool. We will start now. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a really special guest with us on Voice of Crypto's live session today. And as you all are well aware, every Wednesday we go live with some of the experts in the Web3, blockchain, and crypto space. And we're really lucky to get a hold of Kay Shildo. She is the blockchain babe. That's how she's known in the space. And really excited to have all the interesting conversations with you, Kay. And really excited to have you on board with us. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure. Thanks.
The pleasure is all ours, trust me. Before we dive into the depths of crypto payments, and our topic for today is exploring the current payments, crypto payments landscape. I think my first question to you would be, you have been a content creator in the Web3 space for quite a bit, and you are also the CMO of Fiat24. We'll hear a lot more about Fiat24 from you. But before that, tell us about your journey. How did you manage to make it to this space, and how did you become the content creator that you are?
Yeah, so I've always really been fascinated by storytelling, and that kind of came from a love of reading and writing and also video and graphic content. And actually, my career began in traditional advertising. So I was doing campaigns for more banks and supermarkets and other kind of Web 2 businesses, I guess you could say. And at the beginning of last year, I was really on the lookout for some new opportunity, a new challenge. And by chance, I just found Fiat24. And as soon as I started reading about Web3 and decentralization and blockchain, I really fell in love with the tech and all of the possible applications and possibilities that it really provides for transforming and improving, I think, many different industries and even probably a lot of different platforms that we have come to use on a daily basis. So, like you said, yeah, at Fiat24, I am in charge of marketing and communications. So, in a way, I think it's only natural that I kind of use my voice to be an outspoken person in the space. But it also comes kind of naturally because I'm really kind of personally invested and passionate about decentralization in itself. So, yeah.
Quite an amazing journey from advertisement to Web3. And what exactly does Fear24 do? And could you talk a little bit more about your role at the firm?
Yeah, sure. So Fiat 24, I guess there's a kind of a three-layered approach as a way for me to address it. So first, I would say, like from a legal perspective, We are a Swiss regulated financial institution, and we are governed by Swiss banking law and supervised by the local financial regulator, which is called FINMA.
Mhm.
From a technical perspective, we are the only licensed fintech bank that has fully abandoned servers, and instead we use a public blockchain to book client ledgers. And specifically, we are using the layer 2 rollup solution Arbitrum to run our core banking system. And finally, from a user perspective, what it means for everyone is that we are a global payment DApp or decentralized application, which can be accessed via your MetaMask or any of your favorite non custodial crypto wallets directly. And it allows you to easily convert your crypto assets into fiat money, which you can then spend using the new Fiat 24 Visa debit card, which is connected to your mobile phone's native wallet, such as Apple Pay or Google Pay. So that's kind of a little intro to what we do.
Wow, super. Now we all know that the crypto payments landscape is evolving. It has been for the last 3 to 4 years, and there have been quite a bit of, so to say, regulatory tension between the top players in the market and different regulators from across the globe. So, in the light of whatever has happened with the centralized exchanges and the Binance issue, what are your thoughts on the recent concerns that were faced by these centralized exchanges?
Yeah, so I would say, first was and ongoing is still Coinbase in the US,
Yeah.
and they really have their own issues. So, like in early June, the SEC they brought Coinbase to court, and they claimed that, and Coinbase is one of the leading crypto exchanges in the
Yeah.
US. They were claiming that they were operating in an unauthorized they were operating an unauthorized trading platform,
Yeah.
and then also tried to allege that they are running an illegal crypto staking service.
Hmm.
Now we see Binance, that I think is the biggest example of what really worries regulators in crypto right
Yeah.
now. So there's unrestricted investor access to a range of digital tokens that I think finance officials, they've never really heard of them. And
Hmm.
there is no traditional investor protections like you have in the regulated markets. And I guess we all know that Binance launched really quickly all around the world in many countries, but now they face issues in many countries, saying that they are operating without permission to do so, like in the US, the UK, Japan, Germany, and other places in the EU. But personally, I think that regulating CEXs would be a major push towards, shedding the Wild West stigma that crypto has. I think and inevitably it would just be a positive thing because it would lead more people to believe that their money is like safe in this system, and then that would lead to an influx of new cash from both retail and institutional investors, that and all of that would just help to send prices up across the board. So I think in the end it would just mean that our money would be safer and we could all make more of it. So
Yeah, let's hope for the best there. So,
yeah.
despite these regulatory concerns that we keep on getting from across the globe, and I think while UK has been doing great, there's quite a bit of tension in the United States. Despite of all of that, there has been a sort of subtle rise in the use of decentralized finance, NFTs, even cryptocurrencies. The narrative wasn't great last year, the beginning of this year, but there is still a certain rise that we see. So, do you see any potential for crypto payments to revolutionize the traditional finance systems? And if so, how do you think that would pan out?
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting time to be in the crypto payment sector.
Yeah.
I don't think that even despite these kind of dramas or, like all this regulatory
Mm.
concerns, I don't see it slowing down. Actually, I think we've seen that the number of businesses that accept cryptocurrencies has dramatically increased.
Okay.
And also legitimizing its use, we have corporations like Microsoft, PayPal, and Tesla, they've all started integrating cryptocurrencies into their
Mm,
payment system. So those are good moves that show that there is a lot of demand for this. And even Shopify recently, like, so we're seeing even the big online merchants also starting to accept crypto payments. And I think it's just going to become a more practical payment method as we go along, especially because now we also see that established banking institutions like are also starting to recognize
mm,
that it's eventually sooner or later going to become a common payment alternative, and they're also looking at what they can do to like bridge the gap between like the crypto world and conventional banking. So yeah, I can only see it and DeFi in general like starting to pick up even more, I think.
So, a lot of beginners that enter the space think of this as uncharted territory, or like you mentioned earlier in the interview, the wild west of payments and finance. But what are those key challenges that businesses or individuals face when moving towards decentralized finance?
Yeah, well, I would say, well, looking at the DeFi space in general, of course, there are like many different concerns. I think technologically speaking, we still have to catch up a bit just to ensure that that transactions can really be super fast without compromising on having high gas fees, and also
Mm,
making products that are more user friendly and require less learning, and also that, maybe we do find a way to like have more regulation or clearer regulation in place so that people don't get scammed. But in
mm,
terms of crypto payments in general, I think if you think about how to off ramp or how to cash out your crypto, I think it's still very cumbersome. It can be
yeah.
complex, time consuming, and even expensive if you want today to move your money or your tokens from MetaMask and then convert it into fiat money and then spend it. There's so many steps you would have to take. So
Mm,
MetaMask and other wallets at the moment don't even really let you spend the tokens that you're
yeah.
holding there. They just, refer you out to third parties, and oftentimes
Mm.
CEXs, which have their own challenges and issues. So that's kind of how I see it right now.
Absolutely. Well, with a lot of advantages come a lot of challenges as well. So, how is Fiat 24 trying to address these challenges with people like you at the forefront?
Well, essentially, what we think is that people will only move more and more away from CEXs to decentralized exchanges, because I mean, yeah, as we've all seen in the news, we have this kind of false sense of security in them, but in the end of the day, it's still one single authority who has power or access to all of our assets. So as we see more and more people moving towards DEXs, like we're trying to really solve the problem of cashing out in a really DeFi way, because for now, like the CEXs are the most popular way to cash out, but there isn't a good DeFi solution. So essentially, you can think of us as like a kind of fiat layer for DeFi. So you can just use whatever crypto wallet that you would like to use, and you can just stay within your wallet and keep all of your tokens there and only spend them when you want to. So maybe I can talk a bit more later about what we do exactly. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're trying to achieve.
Now, Fiat 24 is a really interesting name. I would like to know what was the backstory behind naming the firm. So,
Yeah, well, to be honest, the name is all about your ability to convert crypto to fiat 24/7. So the
we,
company was founded by a couple of ex-bankers who were really familiar with the core banking systems, and they saw an opportunity to recreate it in a more efficient and scalable way on like using the blockchain. So that's kind of where it comes from. Yeah.
Wow. Now, crypto cards have been pretty popular and recent now more than ever. In fact, what are some of the most notable institutions that offer crypto cards, and are there any advantages and are there any benefits of using those cards? If any, we'd love to know about them.
Yeah, so there are, I would say, the two that I know of that are most popular are Coinbase and Binance cards.
Right.
I think what makes them initially the most appealing is that you can get rewards, or they have their own
Yeah.
kind of cashback programs. So they really, that's one way to be able to build your financial portfolio.
Mm,
And apart from that, they claim that it's like, an easy way to just, or convenient way to just spend your crypto, like, because you can
mm,
spend it anywhere that Visa is accepted, which is really, globally, you could
mm,
basically spend it anywhere in the real world and online. And yeah, it's just like they represent a tool that really finally makes crypto suitable for daily purchases. But if I could say one thing which is a little negative, is
mm,
that these cards, like even crypto.com and the Coinbase and Binance cards, they're all built on Web2 structures. And in
right.
order to access the cards, you need to be logged into a centralized exchange platform first. So what we're doing is really different because our card is built really on Web3 infrastructure, with the Fiat24 NFT being your account. So whatever wallet you choose to put the NFT in is the wallet which becomes your e-banking tool essentially. And all of the transactions that are done are booked
Mm.
directly on Arbitrum. And it's only you, the owner of the NFT, who has access to that related account and who's able to make transactions.
Wow,
So
pretty decent.
yeah. Mhm.
You did mention some negatives around crypto payments or crypto cards that are being offered by places like Coinbase, Crypto.com. Now, talking about the limitations or the so called cons, scalability and transaction speed have often been cited as limitations of blockchain based payments or crypto cards. Now, do you see any developments happening in this arena? And will those developments make crypto payments a lot faster, if at all?
Yeah, so maybe we're biased because we are built on Arbitrum, but
Yeah.
I think here we do believe that it will be layer twos that really hold the key to making crypto payments faster and more efficient.
Hmm.
I mean, as we've all experienced at one time or another, just the gas fees on Ethereum layer one is just they're too high, or it's slow, there's a lot of traffic. So I think layer twos are the ultimate solution, and that's why in Fiat 24 we specifically chose Arbitrum, because we know that it's fast and has low cost, which is really key to our client base, given that we are, dealing with payments that need to be fast and cheap. But
Yeah.
other possible solutions, I think, will include ZK rollups, but I think that it's still a little bit early days for ZK rollups, and will take a little time until they're more mature. So for now, we think the best solution are layer twos, such as Arbitrum.
Absolutely. Just for the sake of clarity of our viewers, what exact differences would there be between layer twos and layer ones for crypto payments, and how does a firm like Fiat24 sort of monetize on layer two platforms?
Sorry, can you repeat? I think that I missed something.
Right. I was asking what sort of difference, what are the key differences between layer two platforms and layer one blockchains when it comes to payments? You did mention that gas fees are a lot higher, but other than that, are there any key differences that you could point out between the two blockchains?
Yeah, well, I think that layer twos are also, they can just roll up all their transactions in bundles. They maintain the decentralized nature because they are related or connected to Ethereum. and they are quite scalable. So yeah, in general, I think
Yeah,
that's really the main concern. Because
absolutely.
especially when you see like a popularity in a new, like if there's like some movement in the market and then suddenly everyone is trying to do transactions on layer one, it's
Yeah.
just so expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
also I have tried to move my money from Huobi, my tokens, into MetaMask, and I paid like $12 in fees. It was crazy. So
So sometimes you have to pay more than you're sending. So
yeah, I
the
think that's
rewards from it.
one of the main things. And I think for DeFi to grow in general, we're going to really need something that is both fast, but also, not too expensive.
Absolutely. Now, volatility has also been cited as another concern when it comes to cryptocurrency payments. Are there any strategies or tips or tricks that you can suggest to help mitigate this issue for both consumers and merchants?
Yeah, so I think, as we all know, volatility is just the hallmark of the crypto market. So
Yeah.
I think if you're accepting it as a payment, then you have to accept that it is volatile. Just like it could go really way up, it could also go down. And in that case, I guess the only way to really reduce the risk is to convert it to your local currency like as soon as possible. But I think that you know instead of looking at um, altcoins, we can also look at stable coins, which are, I think, the best alternative to what are really otherwise volatile cryptocurrencies. And, I think the reason that they're really popular is because they are fixed prices.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, USDC or UST, they have entered the market with various token models and assets that are backing them. So, I mean, stablecoins are primarily used to facilitate the on and off ramps for crypto exchanges. So, I mean, we can see why they've gained increasing popularity for cross border transactions. But yeah, in terms of volatility, it's the name of the game, I guess.
Absolutely. Now, Fate 24 has sort of been the flag bearer for crypto payments. That wouldn't be wrong to say, I'm guessing. Could you share, as the marketing head, could you share some of the initiatives or partnerships that your firm has taken off late for adoption of crypto payments?
Yeah, I think that partnerships in the crypto space are really, really valuable. And it's really, really key to growing in this sector. So, the first kind of great partnership that I would like to mention is with Thor Wallet. And
Mhm.
they are also based here in Switzerland. So, we have a very personal relationship, and they're built on Thor chain, which is multi-chain, and they are really the first wallet to integrate Fiat 24 as their off-ramp solution for their wallet users. And apart from that, we have some other exciting partnerships in the works, and we're seeking some more great connections and across different Web3 niche segments, such as gaming and DEXs. So if anyone is listening, feels like they want to reach out and say hello and get to know more, then I would be happy to speak with you.
Super. Now, while regulatory concerns Kay, have been like a sort of a roadblock in terms of adoption of crypto payments, in your opinion, what steps can global governments sort of take to foster innovation and sort of promote crypto payments adoption? And do you think that this is something that governments would go ahead and do?
Yeah, well, I think it really also depends on where you live, because where we
Hmm.
are in Switzerland, we are quite well known to be a very crypto friendly nation. And I think here the government is quite, well, they are quite innovative, and they are, interested in working together with companies to make sure that, okay, like that we are regulated, but that there is a chance also to innovate and try something new. But as we see, like in other parts of the world, especially the US, I don't know, like it's been argued if they're going about it the right way or if they're trying to
Mm.
too aggressive, but I think that regulators should use existing kind of guidelines and international standards, and they should really focus on areas of vulnerability such as hosted wallets and centralized exchanges. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think that yeah, I mean, they should ensure that any short term approach that they take is really flexible enough to be adjusted in the future. And I don't think that if they do like broad bans on crypto assets, I think it's likely that it will just be ineffective in the long run, to be honest with you. So I think they should essentially just take a balanced approach and kind
Mm.
of do what they're kind of trying to do here, which is to work closely with the
Yeah.
companies who are like us trying to build something really new. So,
Hmm.
I mean, of course, they have the responsibility to protect consumers and markets, but I think they should also try to harness the benefits of what we're trying to do with this technology.
Absolutely. With so many regulatory concerns, privacy is often considered as one of the other concerns around crypto payments. So, how does one strike a balance between privacy and regulatory requirements, which include a focus on KYC and AML regulations?
Yeah, I mean, so personally, I also really much value my privacy, and
Mhm.
it's one of the, core or fundamental uh, cornerstones of decentralization and Web3 that's attractive. But on the other hand, I think it's normal to expect that anytime that any company touches fiat money, there has to be a KYC process in place. It's
Right.
just really unavoidable. And actually, I mean, even if it is also annoying for me if I want to open a Revolut account, I don't have my passport with me, or I don't have, and I have to go back and make sure I have everything to pass it. But it's at the end of the day the protection for users as much as for the company. But on the other hand, I think like what we're doing with Fiat 24, because the account is attached to the NFT, like I said before, it's only the NFT holder who has access, to his account. And when you do KYC with us, the wallet that you've connected with don't get any of that of the data, and the data that you shared with us is all stored like in Switzerland and is quite safe. So I know that people in crypto do love the idea of being anonymous, but it can only be that way up to a certain point. So I think we have to be flexible.
Yeah, no more Mr. Robot, I'm afraid. So, um, pivoting back to your role as a Web3 creator, Web3 content creator, there's still quite a bit of gap in terms of educating the masses or beginners. As a Web3 content creator yourself, what role do you see yourself playing in educating the general public about the sort of potential benefits of crypto payments?
Yeah, so I do. I am an active reader, and I like to stay on top of the news, whether it's the tech side or the regulation side. Or I know that there's a lot of important discussions about also security and how we can use crypto to make a long-lasting impact around the world. Especially interestingly for me is in countries which have unstable or manipulated currencies. And I do hope that I can make a difference. But I mean, I personally just try to use the various platforms that I'm on to, like, yeah, advocate for crypto and to see it used for what it was originally intended for, was to be a form of payment and not just like another investment, like how a lot of people in the West see it. And yeah, I like to be part of discussions such as these. And yeah, I mean, I hope I can make a difference to the space.
Absolutely. Now, there are a lot of emerging technologies. We've got Web3, blockchain, now we have AI as the new thing. What predictions do you have for the future of finance and payments in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? And I know that's a long time in the Web3
Yeah,
space, but we love predictions. Everyone does in crypto. So, what are yours?
yeah. Well, as we see here, especially in Switzerland, there are starting to become more and more crypto-friendly banks, and I think that's a very positive step because I don't think that crypto will ever really replace fiat money, but rather I think that they will coexist. As a prediction, I mean, I would only say that the future of finance is looking increasingly digital. And I don't mean e banking or like Web2 apps. I think is certainly going to move into blockchain and crypto. We can solve many issues with it, like cross border payment settlement times, lowering costs, and importantly, also financial inclusion. And yeah, like I said, I think the fact that like a lot of banks are starting to take it seriously and see how they can invest and make, like products or services for people is only a testament that we are headed in that direction.
Absolutely. And my last and final question to you as we head towards the end of our time would be, what are your three key pieces of advice for individuals who are new to the crypto payments arena and are starting to explore this space?
Yeah, well, when I started, it was all very overwhelming. I would have to say, I think maybe if you come from a traditional finance background or you've worked in banking before, maybe the learning curve is less steep. But I would say, apart from taking the time to learn, I would say that testing is probably the best way. So, I mean, you can learn something hypothetically, how it works, but
Yeah.
probably the best way is to physically try something yourself. I mean, on the other hand, yeah, of course, you do need to have read and have like background knowledge in the first place because if you're going to put money anywhere, of course, you don't want to lose it. But I would honestly say the best way that I managed to learn and get more into the space is by literally like trying something. Like, let me try to top up my wallet, or let me try to buy some ETH, and then let me try to buy an NFT, and let me try to
Yes.
do some transactions. That's really the only way that you can learn something, I think.
Absolutely. Do your own research, do it yourself. That's the best way to go about it. So, some really great advices by UK was in today's episode, and I would like to thank you again for joining us today. It is our pleasure to have you on the show. Hopefully, we'll see you around soon. And big shout out to you, guys, whoever's watching. Go ahead and follow Kay Shildo. She's the blockchain babe, and go ahead and give a thumbs up to Fate24. Check out their services, check out what they do, and do check out Kay. And once again, thank you so much for joining us for this enriching
Thank
discussion, Kay.
you. Thank you. Thanks.
Bye bye. We'll
Bye.
see you next time, next Wednesday around the same time with another really interesting guest. And until then, bye bye.